That way you could print one Bible,
Yeah,
and everybody would be able to read it.
absolutely.
So that was a.
It's been a powerful
fulfilling
experience,
thing.
and probably
It was.
pretty. Was that scary at all? I mean, knowing that obviously that there was just that thought that clearly a later dictator even could have happened while you were there, for that matter.
We planned to go in one time and take huge bundles of Bibles, but
Right.
for a story that would take too long to tell, we got caught our first time in, and they let us go in because they still wanted us to go in and spend money, but they confiscated all the Bibles.
Right.
And there were 4 of us out of a group of about 18 who we all, when we finally regrouped at the hotel, said there's got to be a way. And we found out there was an overnight boat from Canton, which was Guangzhou. The name had been changed to Guangzhou.
Right.
Overnight boat back to Hong Kong. So 4 of us raced across town, left our hotel rooms and had paid for it and everything, raced across town, got a ticket to on this overnight boat. I shared a cabin with a little ancient Chinese woman. She spoke no English.
Wow.
I was the foreign devil, which is the colloquialism for the white folks that would come over there.
Right.
And but we got along just great, and woke up in Hong Kong Harbor, went through the process of getting a new visa in a day. They got us new Bibles. We wore them the second time. We had, the men had like flak jackets with the Bible, with pockets all over.
Right.
And the other woman and I had long skirts to our ankles and sweaters, like vests.
Right.
And we had Bibles all over. And you had to pace yourself walking, or your skirt would start doing this. And it was real obvious. It was kind of a...
Yeah.
And I had my knapsack in one bag, or my pocketbook in one sack, and my camera in the other, so that no one would bump into me, because they would feel that there was something strange about that woman's skirt. And a big sweatshirt over it, so that I just looked like a heavy American. But when we went through the second time, and then we did it again, but the second time through, when they had warned us that we had picked the worst entryway into China from Hong Kong.
Right.
More people got caught at that one for Bibles than any other. I was so afraid of being strip searched and of losing that as a way of smuggling Bibles in, because it would tip them off, that when I had to sign my signature twice at that checkpoint, I couldn't read my own handwriting. I couldn't read my own signature. For the first time in my life, I was so scared. But we were successful and did it a second time, and it was, so.
Wow.
It was an experience, but it was good.
That's a fascinating story. That's a fascinating story. And please forgive me, I misspoke when I said we're talking about Horry County Council. We're really talking about you as I open up, because of course it is you are so inextricably linked to that, but of course so many folks link you to your family. They link you to contemporary Christian music. They link you to the Sunday morning show, which I think you were about to talk about.
Well, yeah, I do tangential things.
No, that's great. And forgive me, I opened up saying we're talking about Horry County Council, and I thought, my Lord, it's
my goodness.
Gilland. That's right, yeah.
Well, when I came back home and I was doing a variety of things, trying to figure out what in heaven's name, because when I got home to help my mom, she broke her hip. I moved home for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, right. You were just going to be here for a couple months, yeah.
I felt like I was supposed to stay, and it was the worst news I had had in a while, and I got it just through that feeling you get.
Right.
I got that leading that I was supposed to say, and I thought, what in heaven's name am I supposed to do in Horry County?
Right.
And
because
I love
both of them
this
start
place.
with an H, that's right. Heaven and Horry, that's
but,
right.
I just didn't know. But one of the things I finally did after working at a realtor's office and being a night manager at Kirk's Ice Cream Parlor and a variety of things, I went into Sunny 106.5, the oldie station, and proposed that I do a Sunday morning show playing contemporary Christian music, because I had the CDs.
Sure.
I knew the artists. I knew the stories behind the song.
Right.
I'd sell the ads. I would do everything if they'd just give me the 3 hours, and they had just happened to have just lost a 3-hour program.
Oh, come on.
A syndicated program, and we're trying to figure out what to plug that spot with. And I walked out grinning and scared to death, because they had given me 3 hours on Sunday morning, but I knew nothing about being a DJ.
Yeah, sure.
So I learned. I figure if somebody can learn it, I can too.
Right.
So I learned to do it, and my motto was, and I did it just very Liz. I was silly and funny and nerdy sometimes, and my slogan was, all the music I love to hear. If you want to hear a song, call me. If I like it, I'll play it.
Right.
I mean, I was that, I had fun with it. And it became an incredibly popular show. I had an amazing audience.
You said for 8 years, Liz.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did it 6 years there, and then
90.
I did it another couple of years at 103, a country station.
Right, sure.
But it became for a time when Arbitron does the ratings, and that's when everybody's trying to do their best because you get rated like Nielsen's with television.
Mm-hmm.
For a time, I was the number one produced show, the number one show,
right.
Not just a DJ on playing records, but a show that has certain time and stuff in this market, which was just
more
incredible.
than Banana Jack, more than Howard Stern, more than all
yeah.
the wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to remind Banana Jack of that. Yeah. Next time
I should do that too.
Yeah,
but that was, it was just, I enjoyed it. I loved it, and now we have K-Love, and we've got somebody else doing Christian music on Sunday mornings. But at the time, there was nothing, and I just missed hearing it, and I missed people. I missed being able to introduce people to it and exposing it, and so I feel like it did what it was intended to do. It kind of got things rolling down here.
Have you maintained some of those bonds with Nashville, or with Amy Grant for that matter, with other friends from Furman who may have gone with you up to Nashville or followed
I have. In fact, I talked with Amy just a couple of nights ago. And we stay in touch. And I watched her on Oprah. She and Vince last week. Went to their wonderful wedding a few years ago.
Wow,
But I don't get to go and visit like I used to. Because this job is just...
Because you're with your mother every night, obviously.
And the job takes the rest of my life. So I can't travel to do personal things.
Of course not. It's a big job. It's not a 6-month job, a 9-month job. It's not like when you were growing up that you were 7 months in Conway.
Yeah.
This is a year-round thing,
and
Liz.
It's not a part-time job either. It's
it's
part-time
not?
pay.
I thought it was part-time pay.
It started off being a part-time job when Horry County was poking along slowly in the 70s. But it is so not part-time that I cannot even hold another job, another part-time job to make ends meet. I live on my $25,000 a year.
Wow.
And that may seem like a lot of money to some folks, but as those folks know, it's hard to stretch a dollar. And when we get to the budget each year and we talk about increases in taxes, I'm affected like everybody else out there.
Sure,
and I'm having to look at the bottom line and see how that will affect me. And so it's, you just, in the position I have, I do the best I can, trying to look out for everybody with the big picture of county. This is a whole county. I'm not just looking out for the coast. I'm not just looking out for the rural communities. I have to look out at what is the greater good for the whole. And if I can lay down every night and think, I've done the best I can do, then I can sleep. And I've done it the right way.
Is there another council person who commits like you do? Of course, the chairman has to commit more time. Is there anyone who commits that amount of time, not to spear or to single anyone out, but is there anyone that takes it upon themselves to look at it not as a part-time job? Because it really, I mean, some folks would have to maintain a career if they've got a big family to support or otherwise, they'd have to. But at the same time, still serve their constituents well, not to ask, I mean, but you don't even have to name names. Is there anyone who...
I'll give you an example, though. I worked what I thought was really hard when I was a regular council member. Went to all the committee meetings, whether I was on them or not. I still had no clue. After serving on council for 8 years, I had no idea how huge the chairman's job was. And I had a council member just last year before, when we were talking about perhaps raising the salaries or making it a full-time job or whatever, say, well, you can't work any more than I do. And I thought, oh my goodness, you have no clue, just like I didn't have a clue. Because everybody wants to meet with the chairman. People want to show their projects to the chairman first. They want to call whoever's in charge.
As opposed to the person in their district. I mean, if they're coming from a district, they don't.
Well, they often call their own district person. But when it's a developer with a project or some new idea or the leader here or there, meeting with the state people, going up to Columbia, different things like that. It's just the chairman's responsibility.
That is fascinating, Liz. Well, if you weren't so receptive, they would if you weren't so receptive and willing to go out of your way to be on top of everything, then possibly they wouldn't. I mean, they'd want to see you, but they wouldn't be able to. I mean, and I'm sure that's probably happened in the past.
It's everybody's choice.
Sure.
It's every council member's choice. A council job can be pretty much a full-time job, or you can show up at the meetings, open your packet up then, shoot from the hip,
Yeah.
And go about your merry life.
Yeah.
And I've seen folks that have done that.
Oh yeah. Fortunately, you have a very dedicated council there that you serve with, and I'm sure they're all very focused. And there's so many things we want to get into, and obviously those aspects for you. And tomorrow we want to highlight some special pieces there on council and some big issues. But surely your faith has come across many ways to many folks, and it's been very singular at the same time, your dedication both to your family but also to Christ.
Thank you, and I hope so. Mm-hmm. I wrestled when I first got in the political arena because I would look at my Bible study teacher and think, she is doing that for the Lord. What am I doing? I'm in the political arena where everybody's talking about separation of church and state, and I can't be a Christian out front. But I found as I continued to just do what I was given to do, that there are ways of reflecting who I am, and people then ask, how do you do this or that? Right. And I say, a lot of prayer. Mm-hmm. I've looked into the camera before at council meetings and said, if you're a praying person, I need your prayers on this. When I had knee replacement surgery some years ago, right. I just looked straight in the camera and said, if you are a believer and a praying person, I need your prayers for this. And I just don't, when I get to speak to groups individually, I'm a little more open. But that's who I am. Mm-hmm. And you can't separate that. Mm-hmm. And everything that I do in my job, I do it based on what I believe. Mm-hmm. Doing the most good I can to the most people in the best ways, and just trying to live up to what I believe and who I believe in. Mm-hmm. So.
Those are great words, Liz. I'm sorry we've run out of time. We'll look forward to can we get you back tomorrow?
Absolutely. I'll be here.
Great. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with the Honorable Liz Gilland, Chairman of Horry County Council. Coming up next. Picture it. You heard those special words that she's signing her name and her hands are shaking. She can't even later read her name. That experience of spreading the word, you heard her talk about that aspect. God's role in her life in her youth, role in her life there as she's counseling to others in the college scene as a graduate student, and later up there at Furman, and then really helping to spread the word in Nashville. She brought that word back here, but think about it, taking it over to China, spreading the word and spreading Bibles all across that country, but knowing that even signing her name, being that nervous about it, those experiences are real. Those experiences are vivid. Those experiences are Liz. You heard her talk about it just being Liz. It was very exciting. You can learn more about her online at horrycounty.org, horrycounty.org, and learning about council, which we're going to talk a little about tomorrow. Come on back. Horry County Council, past, present, and future, tomorrow on Carolina People.